Hello, welcome to the Vintage Dreamer, a knitting podcast, episode number 3. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rebecca, and you can find me on all my social media accounts by going to the website, thevintagedreamer.com. Well, a lot has happened since I've met with you last. It's been over a month. My goal is to do one of these a month, but I knew that might not always happen. We had some family health issues. My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she's really young. She's only 65. So that was really tough, but I saw it coming. So now that we know what's happening, we can start preparing and just being with her and loving on her and enjoying all the time we have with her that we can. Thankfully, she knows who we all are. You know, she's just having some memory issues right now and some other things, but she's doing pretty good. She's in good spirits now. So, yeah. Anyways, enough about all my troubles. I hope you had a good Easter if you celebrate Passover. I'm just so happy for spring. I love spring because of the birds and the doves. I love the doves. When I walk around the neighborhood, I see all the dove couples. And I know that they're probably looking after eggs. And watching online on Instagram all of the spring lambs, it's just a fun time for new growth. So yeah, I love spring. Well, so the next thing we're going to do, I guess, is the works in progresses. Okay, before we get started on showing you my works in progress, I wanted to talk to you about a mystery knit along I'm doing. If you know anything about me, you know I love knitting gnomes. And this May, let's see, I have it written down, May 7th through the 26th is the next Mystery Gnome Knit Along. It's hosted and designed and created by Imagine Landscapes. I will put all the information down below. I'm going to be joining in. I'm really excited, and I would love for you to join in with me, and we could share our work on Instagram. I thought that'd be fun. And let's see, what do I want to say? Oh yeah, all the pattern information will be down below where you can buy the pattern. And she did this really great thing with some indie dyers. I think most of them are indie dyers, but they put kits together for the gnome, and they know what the gnome looks like, so they designed the colors to go with the gnome that was designed. And I'll show you my kit. I got my kit from Black Sheep Dyeworks. I've bought some yarn on her through Etsy before, and she makes great kits. And of course I chose the aqua blue one. Isn't that pretty? Oh. She packages it so nice with the washi tape. So this is Black Sheep Dyeworks, and I recommend her Etsy shop. She's really good at fast shipping. And I believe if you live in Canada, I think there's some Canadian indie dyers. So if you wanted to get your kit faster and you lived in Canada, you could do it that way too. So yeah, so I hope you join with me. And if you do, please make sure to follow all the instructions on her pattern on how to tag. And I would love to see everything you do, and I hope you follow my clues. So yeah, okay, let's get started on works in progress. Oh, and also I wanted to mention her kits from Black Sheep Dyeworks are about $20. So yeah, that's not too bad. I think in the past you've needed more yarn, so it was more expensive, but 20 bucks, I was like, yeah, because I went over budget in my yarn this month thanks to Knit and Escape. So when I saw the gnomes coming out, I thought, oh, I shouldn't do it, but it was only 20 bucks. Shh, don't tell my husband. Although, I'll, tell my husband, and he'd just roll his eyes in. Yeah, I figured you'd do that. My first work in progress I want to show you is my Homestead shawl, the second. And the pattern is Tumbling Waves Shawl by Krause. And the yarn is by Woolen Women Fibers in their Homestead collection. Go check out their Homestead collection. What's really fun about it is each colorway has a matching charm that you can buy, made by Sam's Tiny Trinkets. And the colorway I'm doing right now is Potbelly. And the reason the Homestead shawl is called the second is because the first one I made, I got to do a sample knit for Andrea of Woolen Women Fibers, And if I'll link it up here if you haven't seen the video, but I did a little video of what I knit because I knew I'd have to mail it out and it wouldn't be in this next podcast. And I loved it so much that I decided I had to make another one. So here it is. And oh, I didn't realize I had this charm on it. This butterfly charm is from Lach and Lou. I can link her shop down below. But isn't this beautiful? The color Potbelly, it's just such an elegant pink. And the linen in here, I think it's a single ply. But the linen, it's really fun because it's kind of squiggly and it reminds me of a little piggy's tail. And if you haven't gathered already, Potbelly, of course, is a pig, and it's a piggy color. Isn't it pretty? And Sam from Sam's Tiny Trinkets, she makes a little piggy charm for this colorway, which I'm hoping to buy. I just haven't done that yet, but I want to. And this pattern, I really love this pattern a lot. I don't remember if I said it, but I'll say it again just in case. It's the Tumbling Waves shawl by Krause. If you want to do lace, this is a good pattern to start with. The reason is she has a chart, but she does each row written out. So I don't have an example, but I'll just take like a piece of paper or a sticky note and I'll just put it right below the line, do it, and keep moving your way down. And it is so easy. And pretty soon you can start memorizing it a little bit. So it's something that you can actually watch. I mean, you know, knit while you watch. And she has some other patterns I want to try. But it was so nice. It's cathartic. It was very cathartic, if that's the correct word. It was just the repetition, and it was peaceful, and you were excited because you're doing something that looks complicated. But there's the stockinette, and then it goes into the lace. The neat thing about this is if you have one skein, what you do is you measure it, and then you knit, and when you get to half of the skein, then you decrease again. So that's how you know if you have enough left. And the first one I did, I used one skein. This one I'm going to make a little bigger. I wanted to do an extra repeat, maybe two. So I got 2 skeins. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. And I really recommend this pattern a lot. And of course the yarn. I will always recommend Woolen Women Fibers yarn, always. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The next whip is my Material Girl sweater by Shaina Bilow. And this is a knit along that I'm doing with Woolen Women Fibers. And I have 2 sweaters in the works, and this will be my 3rd sweater. So whichever one I finish first will be my first official hand knit sweater. Because I start them and I can't seem to finish them. And I'm hoping this knit along with all the peer pressure will give me the bump I need to finish it. So I'm thinking this will be my first official sweater. We shall see. But I did Knit and Escape. I don't know if you've heard of that, but they have a lot of vendors who give discount codes, and Woolen Women Fibers was a vendor, which is why I signed up, because I had to support them. And I bought too much, of course, at Knit and Escape. But I found this new dyer, and her name is Diane from Elliotts Studios. And she's from Southern California, and she did this birthstone collection, okay? My birthstone is garnet in January, and the garnet was just beautiful, but I fell in love with her December, and her December was turquoise. I love anything aqua, turquoise, seafoam, love it. So I bought a sweater's quantity. Okay, enough gabbing, let's show it to you here. In the front, okay. So here's the Material Girl, and I've gotten pretty far. Here's the armpit, that's how far down. And I think it's gonna be a crop. I bought enough yarn that I can make it as long as I want. And this is the fingering weight version. And it has short sleeves, and I'm thinking of making it 3/4, maybe like the sleeves I'm wearing now, maybe longer. I don't know, we'll see. But isn't it pretty? This is the back. Of course, you can see the alternating skeins line, which I hope will block out. but she matched the yarn to a turquoise stone, and the turquoise had this rusty, earthy red color to it, and then the turquoise. And I thought she did really good at matching that. Oh, it was so pretty. I couldn't contain it. So let's see. I hope it fits. It's gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited. I don't know if the lighting is showing it very well, but it's really bright and cheerful. Look at this little charm I'm knitting with. This is from Simply Serving. A little gnome in a yellow rain jacket. This is so cute. Okay. My next work in progress is my spring gnome, and I was so hoping to have it done and sitting up behind me, but that didn't work out. I kind of got tired of doing gnomes, which isn't necessarily good because of the mystery knit along coming up, but I think the reason I got tired of it was I'm doing like a mashup. So I'm mixing and matching gnome patterns from Imagine Landscapes, and it's taking some design effort, and that takes brain work, and sometimes I just want to sit there and just knit mindlessly. But I will show you here. It's turning out so cute. Look. Isn't it adorable? I think on the last podcast we saw the hat. I showed you the hat, and then here's the beard. And the nose and the beard are attached. That's what's really cool. What stopped me on this is I'm going to put a pocket so I can maybe, hopefully, embroider a little flower in the pocket. I went too long, so I had to back it up, and then I went too long again and missed the pocket. So I have to tink back a little bit, and I just put it away because I didn't feel like doing it, and I haven't picked it up. But I will have it finished. I must, because it's going to be adorable. I was going to make a whole bunch more. I think I'm just making one, and it's going to be darn cute. And the yarn I'm using is a mix of 2 dyers, Woolen Women Fibers, of course, and I had a whole bunch of fun colors from the Christmas Advent. And then the other was, because I needed some solids, was unicorn tails from Mad Tosh, I believe. Yeah, Mad Tosh. So it's just these little mini skeins. They call them unicorn tails. Yeah, so. And then this little charm is from Simply Serving. But yeah, he's gonna be so cute, or she, I'm not sure. Haven't decided yet. And then the next one is in my Aggie's bags. And you've seen this bag before if you've watched my other podcast, but this is from Aggie's Bags, and I purchased it through Woolen Women Fibers. Now, this is my spring banner that I just burnt out on. I made this banner, I believe it was last year. I'll put a picture of it right up here. And it turned out so cute. I made it for a friend, and I thought, I've got to make one for me. I like making little kind of amigurumi type animals, but I don't know. I just haven't been in the mood for it. So I went really slow, and I have so much to do on it. I think it's because I've done it before, so the newness is kind of worn off. So let me pull out. The pattern is called Spring Charm Set by Susan B. Anderson. And yeah, so let's see. I made a little chick for my daughter because she asked for one. So here's the chickie. Now the yarn I used is just a bunch of scrap yarn that I had. Isn't he so cute? My daughter loved him so much, she wanted me to make one. I'm going to be making bunnies next, and I'm sure she's going to want a bunny. So let's see. Yeah, so if you've seen the picture, if you saw in the picture, I believe there's 2 of each kind. So there's going to be 2 chicks, 2 bunnies, possibly more than 2 flowers. And then there's the carrots. Yoo-hoo, carrots, where'd you go? Come out, wherever you are. Ah, here we go. cute. And I'm currently, oh, here it is, knitting another carrot. And look at this DPN holder. Isn't that so pretty? The inside, very good quality. And I bought this on Etsy from Henry and Jane Handmade. And it just snaps like this. Oops. And then it holds everything on your needles. So here's the carrot I'm working on so far. And of course, I have a little carrot charm. The carrot charm is by Simply Serving. Isn't it cute? So yeah. So I only have 2 chicks, a carrot, and a third of a carrot. So I'm running behind big time. So yeah, I have flowers and bunnies left. And then finish that carrot and then I'm done. So I'm hoping to get that finished soon, before spring's over, hopefully. It was supposed to be done before Easter, but you know how that goes. Looks like that's all for my whips. Okay, now on to finished objects. I have 3 of them, 4 if you count the one I mailed off. And let's start with the Rainbow Sock Chronicles. On the last episode, I was working on my March socks in orange. And I love how this pattern turned out. I really like this designer, Kay Jones, and this was her crunkled socks. Her patterns are very easy to understand. And with this, I did my own heel and I did my own toe just because it's what I know and I know it fits my foot really well. But I really wish the crinkled part would have stayed crinkled, but I'm still glad I blocked it. It turns into more of a waffle pattern once it's blocked, but I am really, really happy with it. So the yarn is from Hue Loco and the colorway is Dynamo. And the pattern is the Crunkled Socks by Kay Jones. Okay, and then my April socks. Dun dun dun! So pretty. Now this is a pattern also from Kay Jones and it's called Mrs. Tiggy. I'm a big Peter Rabbit fan, mainly because my daughter is. I didn't really grow up a huge Peter Rabbit fan. I like Peter Rabbit, I guess. I love the artwork of Peter Rabbit so much. That and Winnie the Pooh. Oh, classic Winnie the Pooh, love it. Anyways, so my daughter loves Peter Rabbit and that made me love Peter Rabbit even more. But yeah, Mrs. Tiggy. It's just a lace pattern. The only thing I would change is the lace pattern is a little more roomy. So I might have made the arch part a little smaller because normally I knit the heel flap longer than most people because I have such a high arch to my foot. And with this one, I don't think I needed to do that because the lace stretches enough. So instead of going up 18 stitches, I would have done more like 16. But they still fit great. They're just a little more loose and cozy. But aren't they pretty? I'm not a fan of yellow. I don't like wearing yellow and it's just not a color that really makes me happy. And that's weird because yellow is supposed to make you happy, you know? But when I thought of yellow, I thought lacy. And I found this yellow yarn and I really liked it. And the name is called Golden Straw. It's the Golden Straw colorway by Sheepy Fibers, etc. on Etsy. When I saw this, I thought it was nice and elegant. And I thought, okay, this is a yellow that I can knit with. But yeah, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. So the next color for the Rainbow Sock Chronicles is going to be green. And I don't have the yarn yet. I ordered 2 greens and 1 green came and it's beautiful, but I don't know if it's quite what I want. And then another green I ordered, I won't tell you from where yet, hasn't arrived yet. And it's been 3 weeks. I knew it would take a while because it was a new collection that this person's working on. But I was hoping it'd be here by now. So if it didn't work out, I could keep searching for another green. So we'll see. Crossing fingers, everything turns out okay. I think the green will work, but it's so hard to tell. I like to go into the stores and compare things, especially when I'm working on a project where it kind of has to be cohesive. It's hard to do it online, but so far I'm doing okay, I guess. But this green is tough, a tough one for me for some reason. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so the next thing is my Irish shawl. Oh, my Irish shawl. This was a doozy. Okay. So, the pattern for this one, I don't like saying bad things about people's patterns, but I hated this pattern so much. I kept ripping it out and knitting it, ripping it out. I spent hours trying to figure out why my stitch count was not matching the pattern. And in the end, I found out that the pattern stitch count was wrong. So I did all this math trying to figure out why my numbers weren't matching hers, and it was kind of wrong throughout. Now, the thing about this pattern, which I will tell you about, the name of it in a minute, is you can customize it, right? So if you follow the customized instructions, you're fine. It'll work out great. You can put the lace here or there or repeat this or that. That's fine. But if you want it to look exactly like the picture and you follow her instructions to match the picture, you're going to be disappointed because your stitch count's not going to match up. It's going to be extremely frustrating. So I want to get the bad stuff over with first because the yarn I knit it with was fun and I don't want to overshadow that. So I can't, it was a paid pattern. That's what's frustrating, is when it's a paid pattern and you have to figure it out yourself. But I'm trying to find, oh yeah, here we go. Okay, this won't give anything away, but if you look, there's all these points where there's the stitch count. And I was supposed to end at a stitch count of 147 and I could not get it. They say when you get to, in order, I'm explaining this terribly. Let's see. According to the pattern, you do the plain section, and when you get to the lace section, your stitch count has to end in a 7. So according to the pattern, to match hers, it had to end in 147 before I get to the lace, but I was not getting 147. And in fact, I found out it was impossible to get number 147. What I really needed to get was 157, and it carried on the whole way. The next round of lace was supposed to be at 237. There was no 237, and it was impossible to get it to 237. It had to be 247, and so on. And it took me forever to figure that out. And one other person, everyone had great reviews about it, but no one tried to follow the exact picture except for one person, and she had the same problem I did. So when I saw her comment, I thought, okay, something's the matter with the pattern. Now I can figure it out. And then I did all the math and figured out, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. It was horrible. I hated it. But so yeah, I recommend the pattern if you want to design it yourself. She gives you the instructions you need to design it yourself. But if you're trying to follow the picture, don't buy the pattern because you will be so frustrated. What did I wanted to say? Oh yeah, and the bind off. The instructions for her bind off, the picot part didn't match the right spot. And I went over and over again trying to figure out what I did wrong. And whenever I looked at other people on the binding they just did a different binding. So I had to figure out the count of how to get the picot at the right spot, how many I need to add on and add on. So I'm so sorry that I have to say that, but like I was in tears a lot. I was up one night, probably till 4 in the morning, just doing math and trying to figure out what was going wrong. Anyways, that's behind me now. If I want to make it again, I know what to do and I know what not to do. Just, yeah, enough about that. Okay. Are you ready to see the shawl? Now it's really bright and it's really green and it's really St. Patrick's Day. Whoa! Isn't that pretty? Now, I'm gonna admit I don't usually do warmer colors, and I'm not sure how this is gonna look on my skin tone, but it is for St. Patrick's Day, right? I never have green to wear on St. Patrick's Day, and I do now. So this yarn, of course, is from Woolen Women Fibers, and this is from her sock set, and this is a solid that she dyed for me. Wasn't that nice of her? And look, I just see why I wanted this pattern so bad. There were many times where I wanted to give up, and I'm like, no, it's gonna look so good with this yarn. I can't give up. I can't give up. Let's see if we can get close up of the lace, and then it has a nice little scalloped edge. Yeah, according to the pattern, okay, see how there's a scallop here? Whenever I followed the pattern, the scallop would be like in between the two lace points. And I was like, no, in the picture it's supposed to be here. So I had to recount and refigure what was wrong with it. I don't even know what happened. And if I was doing it wrong, there was no explanation on how to do it. It was very vague, I guess you would say. But yeah, shall I try it on and see? When I made it, I was like, wow, this is green. I don't usually do green, but this is the first time I've tried it on. It blossomed. Like, I aggressively blocked this thing. That's the other thing, is the edging was so tight compared to the rest that I had to really like stretch it out. Okay, it's scrunching my hair a little bit, but isn't that pretty? It's very Irish. I have a lot more of this green yarn, so I need to figure out what fun thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save it for the Fourth of July. I'm gonna save it for St. Patrick's Day next year and see if I can make another project. But it's fun. I like it. I'm happy with it. It turned out really good. I love the magic of a shawl, how it's so crinkly and then you block it and you pin it and you're like, is it really gonna stay that way? And then it dries and you unpin it and it just blossoms. It's just amazing what it does. It's like magic. And that's the end of my finished objects. So now it's about block and time. Well, it's about block and time. So this is a segment where I talk about and show my new projects that have been blocked. I have a habit of doing finished objects, stuffing it aside and moving on to the next one and not blocking. And my New Year's resolution is block everything. So each month or in between each podcast, I block 3 new items of my hibernating finished objects. Because what's the fun if you just put it away and you don't wear it? So, number 1 is the Elliotts Ascot by Frumpy Knits, and the yarn is by Hugh Loco in Aloha. And last time I checked, she had this in stock, and this was DK. Didn't that block out so beautiful? So, you know, it looks really funny like this, but so what it does is, I'll see if I can. What's neat about this is it has a little pocket. Ah, so pretty. Look at this. This is the first time I've tried it on. Got a little itch. Wouldn't this be so pretty under like a pea jacket, a pea coat I think that's what it's called. Yeah, oh. I love it. Yes? Yes? What do you think? I made one of these for my aunt, and I'm sure I'm going to make many more. It's a pretty easy pattern, and it's simple, it goes fast, it turns out beautiful. You could have a ton of these in different colors to go under your winter jacket. You know, even without a jacket, it would look pretty, huh? If you had a blouse and maybe you did like a lacy one. Oh, I wonder what a really like crochet lace would look like. I don't know, you might have to adjust the pattern to do that, but to make it more fancy. Okay, the next one is the Book People Shawl by Sylvia McFadden. And the yarn is by Hugh Loco. And it's in the colorway Fjord. And it's a pretty, very beautiful colorway. When I bought it, according to the picture, I thought it was going to be a little more, have a little more aqua in it. And it's kind of a duller blue, but it's very beautiful. Like, I'm not complaining because it's pretty and it's going to go well with my skin tone, I think. But my favorite part, look at the little picots. I'm going to make this again. And I have the special yarn from Woolen Women Fibers that she dyed for me. And I'm thinking of making this with it. It's a cream with cranberry speckles. I think that will look really great with this pattern. So I'm excited to make this again. I don't think this was so busy. I don't know if the pattern shows off enough, the little eyelets. And I really wanted the eyelets to show. But I really love the bottom so much. I don't know if you can really see. Okay, let's try it on. Let's see. It's big. As I fumble through trying to figure out how to put this on. I'll just wrap it around my hair. Okay. Yes. See, isn't it pretty? It matches my eyes. So maybe it'll bring the color of my eyes out. You know, sometimes knits don't always turn out exactly what you thought, but that doesn't mean they're not pretty still. You know, what I should have done is brought out my shawl pin. Wouldn't that be pretty? I'm gonna get a shawl pin. I'll be right back. I changed my mind about the shawl pin. I decided to do a shawl cuff. Isn't this so fun? I don't remember the name of the Etsy shop, but that's a good thing. But that's okay, because look, it's on the back. Knox Mountain Knit Co. from Etsy, and of course I'll link it. But each one's unique because they're made out of recycled belts, leather belts, or I don't think this is real leather. I think it's faux leather. And then it snaps. So let's try it out with this and see if I can. So, okay, I'll fumble along with me here. I want this part to show like that, right? Wrap this. Yeah, I'll just kind of tuck that in there like that, maybe. Oh, I need so much practice. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's not showing how I wanted it to. Let's try it again. So I want this to show like that, right? Like that, yeah. So I want to, okay, so this will go under, no. Oh, here we go. Okay, this will go under like this. Okay, we'll go, okay. Ah! Ta-da! Okay, so then come on. Not the most professional knitting podcast you'll ever see, but that's okay. We have fun, right? Lip. Hey. Let's fluff the hair. Hey, what do you think? Does it look good? Did I do it? What do you think? Does it make me alluring? If that's what you're going for with your knits. Oh, I know. I like it. So this is the Book People shawl by Hugh Loco in her colorway Fjord. Okay, now to detangle. What happens to Betsy? Okay, got it. Okay, so this is the Citron. This has a story, sort of. I bought this at a yarn store a long time ago. The yarn store doesn't even exist anymore, and the yarn stunk. Like a really weird perfume. And I was hoping when I blocked it, the smell would go away. And it did a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. Maybe the person who unboxed the yarn had a lot of perfume. Well, she needed to change the perfume because not only did it not, oh, that's pretty. Not only did it smell bad, it smelled stale. Look at how pretty this is. This was like my most hated shawl. I hated making it. I didn't like the smell of the yarn. The reason I didn't like making it was not because it was a bad pattern. It was because it was my first time doing make ones, make one, make left, yada yada. And this is really pretty, isn't it? Now this would be pretty with a shawl pin. Okay, I'm getting distracted. So for these little, I don't even know what you call them, ruffle-like things, what you would do is you would pretty much double the stitch count and then knit a ton of stitches and then decrease. So whenever you get to the increase, it was so many stitches on your needle and so many make ones, and it was exhausting. Now I think I'd be okay because I have the hang of it and I've done a lot of make ones now under my belt, so I don't think it would be as difficult. But for a first-time knitter, I don't know if I'd tackle this. Yeah, this turned out really pretty. I like it. And the yarn, I don't know the colorway, but it's Malabrigo lace. Let's see if you can see close. Pretty. Okay, yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it. So yeah, this was the Citron by Hilary Smith Callis. It's just a small little dainty shawl. Okay, now let's talk about what's to be blocked. I'm losing light fast. I think I probably lost the light a long time ago. Okay, so the first one is this. Now, I don't know the yarn. No idea. This was when close to when I first started knitting. I guess you could say this is my first attempt at lace. I thought it would be really simple, and it was, but I was still kind of new to reading charts and remembering where you were, like, you know, with my memory, you knit and then you stop and put it away and you come back and you're like, oh no, where was I? And then you have to figure it out. So this took me probably 12 years to make. Literally, I got this yarn before my daughter was born. Probably 12 years ago. And then it just stayed there. I think it was like this much of the way done, and it was taunting me, and I couldn't bear to rip it out. So I think a couple years ago, I finally finished it. I had enough knowledge under my belt that I could find out where I was in the pattern, and then I was like, oh, this is easy, and I did it. And it came from this really neat book. I recommend this book, Knitted Lace of Estonia. Techniques, Patterns, and Traditions. And it's the Raha scarf. Isn't that pretty? I found a yarn that I liked and I just knit something. I wasn't, I guess, savvy to what kind of yarns look good with what kind of designs. So if I had to do this again, I would do a solid color. I wouldn't do a multicolor. But I was new at it and I'm very proud of this. So yeah, this hopefully will block up nicely. I'm sure it will. And then I'll have a nice little colorful colorful scarf. Okay, these the next two are the same pattern, the Star Shower Cowl. This was done maybe 2 years ago, and it was the first time I started using indie dyed yarns. So I didn't keep the ball bands, and now I'm wishing I had. But I do remember one of them is by Farmer's Daughters in the name Two Guns. This is the Two Guns. Now, I was new to knowing what the skein would look knit up, and it looked a lot different on the skein. Of course it did. But it's still fun. It's very, I don't know, two-gun. It's kind of aqua and burnt rust, I guess. And then I don't remember this dyer, which is too bad. Now I remember the dyers and I write it down and save the ball bands, but this was the first time I bought indie dyer yarn. Let me rephrase this. This was the first time I bought indie dyer yarn in a yarn shop. The first time I bought indie dye yarn online was from Woolen Women Fibers. So yeah, this is a lot of teal, and it has some salmony colors in it. I don't know if you can see. This is going to look so pretty blocked. And I saw this pattern in the yarn shop where I got this yarn, and there was a sample knit, and the person who sample knitted it vigorously did points to theirs. So this doesn't have a scallop, but I'm hoping to kind of, when I block it, to block points into it. So we'll see. But I make a lot of stuff by this designer. This designer is Hilary Smith Callis. I'm not fond of how she writes her patterns for the way I think. She writes them fine, but the way I think, I have to kind of rearrange it a little bit. There, isn't that pretty? And I like it because it gets rid of the bulk in the back, but then the front, you can see the design and there's a lot of fabric. So yeah, I'm hoping to block little scallops, but we'll see if I can do it. So those are the 3 I'm blocking for next time. Okay, hang on to your hats. It's show and tell time. I went overboard. Oh my goodness. Okay, some of the stuff I won. Okay, so I didn't buy all this. Yeah, I knit an escape man. That was a lot of fun, but I shouldn't be going to these things. Or if I do, I need to have like, I know it's like all online, but I need to have my cash visually so I can be like, okay, this is going to take this much of my cash, because budgeting in my head, hands-on budgeting is best for me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is this, and I'll go quick because there's a lot. I'll put all the information down below. Yeah, so if I forget something, it'll all be down there. Okay, the show bag. This darn show bag. So I bought everything I wanted to buy, and Christy Glass, she kept waving this bag online, and I love the designer, Tanae Casey. I love her bags. I knew it would be great quality. It had a strap, and every time I saw it, I'd be like, nope, bought too much. Nope, not gonna do it. And then the last day she did it, and I caved. I caved hard, and I got it. Look. Pinks and aquas, and then brown leather strap. Like, that's me. I love it. Pocket inside, and it can be a crossbody. Like, I'm all fumbly today. Yeah, it can be a crossbody. Well, just believe me. Okay. Next, I got these 2 bags. Aren't they so cute? Now, I had my Material Girl in this. This is from Cottontail Farm, and her bags are great. They stand up, they're wonderful, but I have a sensitive nose, I guess you could say, and it smells okay inside, but the detergent she used was a little strong. So when I put my project in there and I kept it in there for a couple days and pulled it out, I was knitting and I was like, what's that smell? It was just a strong, chemically clean smell. And I'm sure that's not going to bother other people, but because I'm so sensitive, it bothered me. So I took my Material Girl out of it and aired it out, hoping that it would go away, and it's kind of still in there, but it's fading a little bit. So I still recommend getting their bags, but what I'm gonna do is you can hand wash it. So I'm gonna hand wash it in my the detergent that I use that is a little gentler for me. Yeah, so I mean, it just means that her fabric's clean, right? Because she washed them, but I'm just extra sensitive. So I would not let that deter you from buying these bags. But that's why my Material Girl was not in there. But look at that fabric. And then chickens. I love me some good chickens. Okay, so this was a vendor at Knit and Escape, Diane from Dye Lots Studio. And this was what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing my Material Girl with. And it is her turquoise December birthstone collection. Isn't it beautiful? I fell in love with it. That she had a 15% off discount, which is why I went crazy. DK, there it is in DK. Isn't that beautiful? And then in her session, she held up these two yarns. Look at that. And she made a sweater out of it. And you know, it turned out to be the Material Girl sweater. And I bought enough of it. I bought 2 skeins of each. So I'm thinking if I really like the fingering weight Material Girl, I might do the DK version and combine these. But isn't that pretty? That's going to look really good together. So that's what I got from her. And then from Toad Hollow, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Sock set. This is the Alice collection, Queen of Hearts. And so this is the Queen of Hearts. And I don't remember, it doesn't say on here which one this is, but I think it's a lizard. The colorway is for like a lizard or something. I think it's on their website. Isn't that pretty? I'm thinking socks. I think I'll do socks with these. Okay. And last, but definitely not least, we have Woolen Women Fibers. Now, first we'll start with what I purchased. Look at her tea set, and they still have these available, I believe, so go to their website. And this is called the Tea Party. Isn't it pretty? I love the seafoamy aqua and the pink and oh, I just love it all. Andrea is making a sweater, so go to Woolen Women Fibers and see the brioche that she's doing with these 3 colors. Not the purple, these 3 right here. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with it, but isn't it beautiful? Okay. And then I got an Aggie's bag. Her bags are so nice. They smell good. They smell really good, and it's a box bottom. I loved my Irish one from her, and I saw this little look at the tea party. Oh, and I fell in love. A little woodland tea party. Okay. Yeah. And then from Sam's Tiny Trinkets, I got these charms. I'm going to pop in really quick and show you Sam's Tiny Trinkets charms because they are so beautiful that they really need to be crisp and clear when I show them to you. So I'm going to be showing you film now. Roll the tape. to your original programming. I know, I'm silly. Okay, so here's the story. Knit and Escape. It's all online, virtual, through Zoom. And they were having trivia sessions. And I knew Woolen Women Fibers was going to be on there. And I thought, okay, I pretty much know most of the stuff about them because, you know, I'm a Woolen Women Fibers stalker. So, and so they said to study up the website. And I was like, Christy Glass said, study the website. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, what are they going to ask? And I'm thinking all these things. I'm writing things down. Okay, they could ask this. This could be the answer. They could ask this. I didn't even guess what they were going to ask. Like, I had no idea. So I was so nervous. I had the video of me off because my hands were shaking. I've been waiting. I was waiting like 2 days for this moment. And I have the computer in front of me and I have like answers all over the place of what different things could be. And I'm like, okay, what can I type the fastest? I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to be indie dyed yarn down to a science, or maybe it's going to be the career she was going to have before Andrea started dyeing yarn. And Christy Glass goes, what movie? And I went, I didn't even think about a movie. Oh no. And inside I thought, oh, orange. And then she goes, I don't even remember the wording, but she said movie. And I'm like, what is it? And it was a blur. She said enough of it that I was like, I know what it is. And before she finished the question, I was typing in funny girl and my hands were shaking so bad. And I was like, I hope I spelled it right. I'm just like, click. And I looked and I was like, someone did it right after me. I don't know who it was. And then Chrissy Glass goes, Rebecca. And I literally, I know, crazy. If you were a fly on the wall, you'd think I was insane. I just like burst into tears. I started shaking and I'm just doing this, like crying and just holding my face. And I'm just like shaking. And then she goes, Rebecca, from the Vintage Dreamer. And Andrea's face was priceless. She heard Rebecca and then she heard the Vintage Dreamer and she was like, oh! And I'm like, oh, she knew it was me. But I was so excited. Now, one of the reasons is they had an exclusive, look, trinket dish from Sam's Tiny Trinkets. And it matches all the charms. Isn't that just, oh, I just don't, it's not even, maybe if I put it in front of my face, it's not even like focusing. Come on. Here we go. Oh, it's just so beautiful. And then I got, what was great is some of the charms. I got some free charms from the teapot, and they happened to be ones that I didn't buy. Only one was a duplicate, but I want a duplicate. Duplicates are great. And because they're hand done, each one's a little different and unique. So it's like you have different ones. But yeah, I was just over the moon excited. I couldn't believe it. I came out of the room and my husband's like, well, did you win? And then I got another one of these bags. Now this was really exciting to me because I couldn't decide between the blue and the green. And when I went to buy one on their website, I had a really rough time deciding which one to get. So because I won a bag too, that means I got one of each. So I got a blue and a green, and I'm very happy about that. Very, very happy. And then, thankfully I didn't buy this because I won the sock set. This is High Tea. It has a really beautiful chocolatey brown and very elegant, creamy kind of, I'm not sure what color to call it exactly, but it has beautiful yellows and pinks and some blues in there. It's very elegant. So I'm going to find some special socks to make with these. Yeah, I had to make a decision based on all the terrible buying I did, which one to get, and I chose this one, and it's a good thing I did because I won this one. So And then one thing, that's all for Knit and Escape, but I did want to show you, I won this from Woolen Women Fibers. They did a knit night celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and I was having such a rough month that I didn't really get to post this online, but I won her tulip sock set. Well, it's not a sock set, it's a mini set. I thought that would make a fun cowl. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, I won that. And from Sam's Tiny Trinkets, it came with a cute little rhinestoned egg. So pretty, with flowers on it. Okay, and the last thing, I posted this on Instagram, so you've probably seen it, but I bought the mystery sock set for Murder, She Wrote. It's so beautiful. So these are my favorite colors if you haven't been able to tell already. It has some seafoams, aquas, greens, some beautiful ocean blue. And I'm from the West Coast, and I believe while the show filmed on the West Coast, I believe the inspiration for Andrea was where she lives on the East Coast, up actually where it was supposed to be set, which is Maine, even though it wasn't filmed there. So I thought that was really neat to get the ocean from the other side. Isn't it pretty? And then it comes with charms. Do one of their mystery sets, Woolen Women Fibers. It's a lot of fun. And look at, oh my goodness, little seahorse and a lighthouse. Isn't that amazing? The detail is just out of this world. Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you for joining me on this podcast, episode number 3. I had a lot of fun and I hope you enjoyed watching. And I'm thinking if you have any suggestions on how I can make this podcast better, feel free to let me know and I'll see what I can do. My goal for each podcast is to make each one a little bit better if I can. So yeah, any suggestions are welcome. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me. And if you're new, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you can see when my next video is. And well, I guess that's it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.